In the chapter of body fluid and circulation, today we are going to study about a very important topic, that is coagulation of blood. Perhaps you have been reading in your junior class that when there is an incompatibility in the blood group, then during the transfusion, of course, then there is a chances of coagulation. Then a question may arise to your mind that why does it so happens that the blood which is flowing inside the vessel, why don't they coagulate, isn't it? The reason is because inside the blood vessels there is a that is your protein which is called as your heparin, which is actually secreted by that of our liver, which is an anticoagulant. It is because of this heparin that the blood inside the blood vessels does not makes a clot, or it does not coagulate. But what happens in natural injury case? That means when a person has got an injury, then what will happen, or how does the clotting process or how does the coagulation process will take place? That we are going to study today. So see, whenever you meet with an injury, okay, so what happens is that that place which is injured, the tissues rupture there. So as a result of rupturing of tissue, what happens is that certain inactive form of proteins which are present in the blood, which are important to be turned into active so that clot or coagulation can take place, they now becomes activated. Now how do they become activated is because of the that is your enzyme which is called as your thrombinase enzyme. Now when it ruptures, there is an enzyme which now becomes activated, which is called thrombinase. Now this thrombinase, what is the function of this enzyme is that there is an inactive compound in the blood which is called inactive protein in the blood which is called as your thromboplastin. Now this thromboplastin is acted upon by this thrombinase to convert it into another protein which is called as your prothrombin. Now this prothrombin is of course not the one which helps directly to form the clot. This prothrombin undergoes a change and now it becomes it gets converted into another form which is called as your thrombin. So prothrombin into thrombin. Okay, so first is what? Thromboplastin. It in presence of thrombinase enzyme is helping this thing to convert it into prothrombin, and the prothrombin again gets converted into thrombin. Now all these things takes place in presence of certain group of enzymes, and also of course in presence of vitamin K and calcium ion. So since so many enzymes, so many things are responsible, mineral ions are responsible, vitamins are responsible for the process of your coagulation of blood, we call it to be a cascade effect or cascade system. Cascade means a group of things responsible for a certain reaction to happen finally into product. So a cascade reaction or a cascade effect is seen to convert the soluble proteins into that of insoluble, and finally we get the result of clotting or coagulum as we call it as. So now what happens is that this prothrombin, it gets converted into thrombin. Now this thrombin, what does it do? It again in presence of another enzyme which is of course a multiple enzyme, a combination of enzyme, and of course in presence of calcium ion, which is now this enzyme is called as your thrombokinase. Okay, first it was thrombinase, now it is thrombokinase. Now this thrombokinase, what does it do is that it converts this thrombin into this thrombokinase. It helps in conversion of fibrinogen. Okay, now this fibrinogen is again one which is not so effective. Now the fibrinogen has to be converted into fibrin, of course in presence of thrombokinase and calcium ion and vitamin K. Now once this fibrin is formed, these fibrins are the proteins which are insoluble proteins, and they will bind with one another to form a thread like structure. Now these thread like structures which are formed, they will now form a fine network in the place of injury. Suppose if it is your hand, So the place where the injury has taken place, they will form a net, a mesh like structure, okay, a sieve like structure, through which there will be no more further that is oozing out of the blood cells. Okay, so as a result, gradually the place from which the blood was oozing out will now come to a halt, or it will come to a stop. Now that is what we call it as a formation of a clot or coagulum. So this is how the coagulation of blood takes place in case of human beings. We have read, of course, in case of blood groups, that Karl Landsteiner has given the blood groups, 4 different types of blood groups: A, B, AB and O, depending upon the presence of the A antigen or B antigen on the surface of RBC. And when there is no antigen, it is called as your O blood group, and when there is both the antigens A and B, we call it as your AB blood group. But besides that, there is one more deciding factor also in determining the blood group of an individual, which we call it as your Rh factor. Now Rh factor was first reported from monkeys, rhesus monkeys, and those people who have this Rh factor in their that is blood, they are called as your Rh positive, and those people who do not have it, they are called as your Rh negative. Studies have been done and massive study has resulted into a conclusion that 80% of the human population are Rh positive, but of course 15 to 20% people are there who are Rh negative. Now problem is that when the blood transfusion takes place, not only you have to match the blood group AB or O, but along with that you have to take into consideration the Rh factor also before the transfusion of blood, or else the clotting of the blood may take place, resulting in the death of the person. What happens is that suppose if a mother she is Rh negative and she bears a fetus which is Rh positive. During her first pregnancy, there won't be any problem because there is a placenta which is like a a separation disc which is preventing the mixing of the blood of the mother and the fetus. But when the delivery is done, during that time, if there is little bit of the blood of or some blood cells leak out into the that is body of the mother, so as a result of it, the body of the mother is now going to prepare some antibodies against those Rh positive factors, and it will get stored in her blood. And the second time when she is pregnant with the same fetus having Rh positive factor in it, now this small group of the antibodies which are already stored in her body now is going to multiply enormously and is going to even kill the developing fetus, or the child may be severely anemic or may suffer from jaundice, and this abnormality is called as your erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay, so that is the abnormality, that is you can say the reaction between the antigen and antibody of the mother and the child if the mother's blood group is negative, if she is Rh negative and the baby is Rh positive. So that is all about the first part of your chapter, that is the body fluid part. About the last video you have seen about the blood, its composition, then about the lymph and its function and all, and today we have learned about how does the clotting process takes place with the help of various enzymes and the inactive form of protein stored in the blood, of course with a cascade system, as because I told you that one enzyme is not responsible for the happening or for the conversion of one protein into another. It is a group of that is your enzymes, along with that of the mineral ions and that of the vitamin K, which is responsible for the process of clotting. So that's all for today's class. I hope you have understood today's chapter well.